We are at the top of this game. We believe we have it all figured out. And then life walks over here and it hands you a card, and then you ask yourself questions. To the person who says, well, Tiffany, you don't understand. I'm chasing the next million. No, Tiffany, I'm chasing the next 10 million. I am going to be the first woman who makes $1 billion company. I hear you. But let me make this clear. We can't take any of this with us to the grave. All of this has to stay here. We are not taking it to heaven. What are you really chasing? As I celebrate my birthday and my endless 21 today, I really truly am going to make this statement. And my statement from me to you, and I took notes because I wanted to make sure that I gave you a gift on my birthday. And my gift to you is chase yourself. The most important, the most desirable, the most awesome thing that literally you could pursue on this planet is you. Now, my goal is to give you the game plan, right? I'm going to give you a handful of things that I know for sure that if you could just look at a little harder, make a little tweak, then you would build something that will last. The real game is not making the next dollar, building the next funnel. It is not buying another building. It is building something that will outlast you. Be clear that when we're gone, nobody's going to care how much money you had in your bank account, but the people who are fighting for it. That is first. Second, be clear that yes, you owned 32 buildings and you did this, and that. But also, let's be on the same page together. That you own these buildings, you leave a legacy, but did you leave a legacy that was tangible, or did you leave a legacy that actually lives inside of people? Because that's really the real magic. If you had to pull this thing back, that's the magic. Leaving a legacy that lives inside of people. How do you leave a legacy? So I made a decision on my birthday to walk through a couple of opportunities that I have in general and to give this clarity moment, because I know that success leaves clues. I say and teach that, right? But what I haven't taught is, how do you actually leave a legacy? I don't know if I'm going to make this a 2 or 3 part, but I'll damn for sure tell you that step number 1 is in you leaving your story inside of people. You got to stop leaving money inside of people or wanting more money so that you can leave money-based things inside of people. The only reason why I pursue dollars, like real talk, it's so I can reach more people. Be honest. At some point, we can only buy so many pairs of shoes. We can only have so many houses. We can only drive so many cars. And it's great to have those things and it's great to indulge. I'm here for it. But really the fun of going to work, waking up, feeling whole is in you shining, you living on purpose, you leading a team, and you living not just the core of what you teach, but you standing on something that's stronger and bigger than you. That's when the magic happens, when you create something that's bigger than you and you know what you use to create it, your story. 8 years ago, when I walked into this market, the whole world thought I had lost my mind. Everybody thought I was crazy. And as I reflect on my last year, whether you've been following along or not, I got diagnosed. I had surgery February of 2022, an emergency surgery that changed my life. I had to learn to walk again, talk again, eat again, and just be. And I spent months outside of my companies, months outside of myself, and not in hiding, but secluded. But then I got sick. I stayed sick. I never recovered. And I had this new journey of going to doctors and hospital stays. And I got diagnosed with a disease that doesn't have a cure. Now, as I walk through these couple of pieces and I sit here in this truth moment, I say, you have to scale your business, but you got to scale your life at the same time. Because when you scale your business, you truly scale your life and vice versa, but you do it by building a foundation strong enough for other people to stand on. And the win that you will have will be empowering other people that you love or care about or that you respect, and letting them win on the platform that you have created. That is like the ultimate goal. Dear person who is trying to keep all of the wins to themselves and simply pay people well, no. Build something strong enough and big enough so that other people can stand on and so they can too can share in your win and that together you can be more. That is really the richness of life. That is the deliciousness of life. I've been 21 for about 15 years, maybe like 18 years actually. And just yesterday, as my kids ran into my room at 12:01, which is our tradition, and they sang happy birthday, my oldest daughter was like, Mom, I just turned 20. Like, it's gonna be really awkward when I'm older than you next year. Like, how are we gonna do this? She's like, you cannot be 21 forever. And I was like hell, I can't. And we had a good laugh. And I thought to myself, the ultimate life is where you're living the life that you want, that you're choosing, and that you're not allowing yourself to compromise your values and your integrity. So, step number one, let me ask you some real questions, okay? For the person who says, I'm building something awesome, do you actually have your values written down? Every part of this company, DTDT, on my birthday, as I wear one of the company shirts, I'm sitting in the midst of my values. Do you have your values written down? And are you the only person who knows what they are? Like, this is a real simple question. I have 13 values that I have written down, and they're with me in my wallet always. In addition to that, they are the beginning of our core values, and they are the number one thing that I sit down a brand new client. I don't care if this client is a six-figure client. I don't care if they're a $16 client. Well, they wouldn't be a $16 client. They might be $16 inside of a community that we have. They're gonna know the same thing. Do you have your values written down? Everybody, every CEO, every person who wants to live a bigger life, you need to have your values written down, and your values need to be the thing that rides you. It's got to be the thing that you present first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Period, all the time, because it allows you to go, no, this is how I'm rolling. This is what I'm doing. Let me give you an example of one of our values or one of my life values. I'm going to do the right thing always, even if it hurts. That second part of our value, what it does is it prevents me from doing the right thing that's just better or best for me. It allows me to create a value for the scenario, the best thing, even if it hurts. The second thing is you've got to stop selling things that have short-term wins. Like you can sell a couple of that, but I'm going to tell you, whether you sell it, whether you indulge in it, whether you create it, how do you create long-term wins? The greatest thing that I get to sit back here 8 years later after everyone tell me I was crazy for trying to create this thing called DTDT or teaching people how to tell their story, not this foolish storytelling trend that I see across the world. I'm talking about telling their story and owning their story in 3 sentences. My greatest is that my clients become family. So many people are like, oh, but my clients are friends. I'm really grateful. I'm like, no, my clients are family. I just got back from Vegas with one of our private clients, and it was the best ever. I got 2 words for you: Fremont. We had so much fun. Now, we were working, quote unquote, working because we were doing a site tour for her event. But in this, I said to myself, I had the luxury of hugging and holding hands with a client. And when she started with me, and I almost tempted to do a separate interview with her soon, because when she started with me, she was just starting. Last year, she closed more than, I guess, $750,000. And as I think about her new goal, right, she is on track to totally crush it and get to $2-3 million easy. I said to myself, the reason why I build with my stories because I never want to not know her. I did not do all this work. Like, think about it. You're not doing all this work of knowing people and building just so that you can phase them out and wait for another person or another sale and put them in place. No. You know how long it took me to find that person and all the people in our community? I want to know them always. Number 3, you need to ask more questions on a daily basis. If your day is not filled with love and laughter, if you are not laughing on a daily basis, I promise you, you're doing this whole thing wrong. The greatest gift, the greatest fuel for everything that I do has been laughter. As I look back at the last year, you know how many times I've cried? You know how many bad words I've said? You know how many people I've had to cuss? Oh my gosh. But if it wasn't for laughter, do you laugh on a daily basis? Like for real laugh. Like be honest with yourself, laugh. Do you laugh on a daily basis? Number one, two, three, four. Number four. Um, Let me say this. You need to give more gifts. You keep all these things to yourself, and it's like, it's so dumb. I give it all away because me taking this thing to the grave, like you have this foolish belief that you're going to be around forever. We are not. We are not going to be around forever. So instead of putting all this stuff behind closed, paid doors, um, instead of putting this stuff behind closed, paid doors, I really truly like, yes, of course we at a certain point you do need to charge for your knowledge. But I'm going to tell you, like, the reason why you can't build something that lasts is because you're holding on too tight to the knowledge you have. You hold on so tight that you squeeze the beauty out of it. And it's like, for me, my greatest win and my secret to having high ticket clients, six-figure offers consistently. The only thing we don't have, or we didn't have as of last year, was $1 million offer, but I guarantee you that by the end of this quarter, we will have one. The truth is that I don't hold on to my knowledge. I am constantly trying to give it away, whether it's to team members, to people who I meet outside. Like, I'm constantly trying to give away what I know, because if you can give people your very best up front, then trust and them staying with you through all of the hard and wonky times will come without you asking. Last year, I was out for almost 6 months, and every client, program member, they all stayed right put. Maybe with the exception of one, maybe 1.5, but they stayed put and they hung on. To the person who is tired of building in pieces, to the person who's already gotten to six figures, you've been in all these programs, let me just say, the win moving forward is a year of you. And that is not a year of being in another program. It is not the year of being in another mastermind. It is not the year of you just being a number or you getting your growth in small pockets. It is the year of you being intimate. Intimacy. I don't know where you are, but I know for a fact that to the person who knows that their next lever is scaling and they're like, I got pieces. I know how to do what I do really well, or I know how to, and everybody thinks I got my stuff together, and I'm tired of hiding, and I, let us help you. Really, really simple. Let us help you. I feel like if I could say one thing to my younger self, like someone asked me that this morning, like, what would I say to my younger self? Because I'm 21, right? So what would I say to like my 9-year-old self? And I'm like, I got that. It would be to set the whole thing on fire, which is synonymous to do effing more, which is right next door to be more. And it comes from this illusion of believing that we can wait. All I know is that you haven't eaten enough chocolate. You have not had enough expensive wine. You are going way too long before you buy yourself another pair of shoes. You don't sit with your boss or your teammate because you guys are not close yet. You're waiting until something happens. You're not having enough, I was going to say something that's X-rated. Sorry. You're not doing enough of that either. You're not smoking enough. I know. Tiffany, did she say that? Yes, I did. If you like cigars, smoke them all the time. You're just not doing enough of whatever it is, because there's this idea that we have 652 tomorrows, but you really don't. The only thing you and I actually have right now is this moment. You barely even have today. You hear me? Like, we barely even have today. For all I know, this is my last moment. In its truth, in its core truth, I know this for sure. If I can get you to entertain these three things, number one, the greatest, the next, whatever you're after, the next million, the next dominating event or program or business acquisition or relationship, like the best is inside of your story. And if you could finally learn to own it and tell it and distribute it, you would move all the mountains. That's number one. Number two, indulge the hell out of everything. Number three, build faster. Build faster. With that, I'm going to say you got to build stronger, but the only way to build stronger is to start stockpiling your resources and stockpiling what you know and throw in the trash the things that make you feel mediocre. All of them. I think this is number four. Number four, spend more money on things that make you happy, that help you grow, or that push you faster. Number five, give more of yourself away. This idea of protecting yourself and keeping it to you, give yourself away. Especially if you have a team or team member, give yourself away. Give it away, all of it. Give the best of what you can. What would, like, think about this. If you know how to do something amazing, and let's say you're like, I know how to eradicate the body of cancer, so many people have told me, Tiffany, I know how to rid the body of diseases. Why are you putting a label behind that? Why are you putting a price tag in front of saving people and helping people? What are we talking about? Everything that we produce so many free things and low cost things that it's impossible for the person at no cost to get from here to there to solve all the problems. We charge for the stuff over there when we are helping them to do it. Why are you keeping all this life-saving information to yourself? Give it away. If you would give it away more often on a daily basis and be a part of the game of making the world a true, better place, stepping up to the plate in leadership, charging for sure for the things that make sense for part of the market, but helping people, like for real, helping people. Don't tell me that you're helping people and there are people in your community that are suffering. Don't tell me that you're helping people, but the 90% of your day is focused on yourself. The next thing I'm going to say is we have this crazy thing called our story. And forever and a day, I have wondered whether or not I would stop teaching it and if I would continue. But the day I stopped or I tried to slow down, I felt like there was a mutiny on my hand. Like I really did. I felt like there was a whole mutiny on my hands because people were like, what are you have to keep teaching. And I was like, well. So here's what I've decided. I am going to spend this year giving people who need either a space or room. And I don't care at what part of your game you're at. If you're like, oh, I need something. I know that I'm really, really close. I'm going to guarantee this. Literally. I'm going to back it up with money. I'm going to back it up with a bet. I'm going to back it up at 100% that your story in 3 sentences is the very next step. And whether you're coming to work with us one-on-one, you're headed to one of our experiences, or you're like, I just need some intimate way in the mountains looking at something amazing, and you're heading to an intensive with us, I'm telling you that this is the answer. So I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know where, but all I'm going to ask you is to bust a move. Bust a move. Oh, I said that for you. You're welcome. In this, let me just wrap this. 1, I am looking for birthday wishes. So for those people who have words of wisdom that they have learned in that last year, I want to hear the lesson that you've learned. So wherever you're looking at this, reading this, watching this, I'm going to ask you to leave me a lesson that you have mastered over the last year. I'm looking to grow and to learn. And I know for a fact that some of you have experienced things that I've never experienced yet. And more importantly, you're further along the way. And it may not be in business, right? I might be here in business, but maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe you've been happily married for 26 years. Maybe you learned how to open a coffee shop in record time, which is what I'm after next. Maybe you have learned how to, I don't know, but I want to know your lesson. What is it? What is something you have mastered that you can share with me? And and honestly, it's specifically so that in this new year, while I'm still alive, which I'm kind of in shock that I'm alive. I gotta be honest. I'm in shock. Like, I am in total shock that I'm alive, which is why I think that I didn't enter today with like a birthday hat or a birthday sash because I'm like in shock. I'm like, am I really here? Really? Am I for real here? Ooh. And in that I know that all of the greatest next steps are to come. So, a happy birthday to me. I think I just rambled. I'm not even sure that this is a happy birthday. I think I talked about a bazillion other things. But but I said something useful. I said something useful.